So my name is Arthur Sorokin. I have a fan base. I am at Google. I'm on the Google AI Futures Fund. It's a strategic investment fund at Google. Here, we're actually here to talk about these pioneers and multimodal capabilities. So I want to jump right in. You guys started to talk about your products and multimodal capabilities and what each of you guys are doing. That's kind of where you are today, but you've all been around for quite some time. And so I'm kind of curious, in this Gemini era, where was, multimodal was a buzzword for some time. What was that aha moment for each of you?
For me, the first aha moment I had of this technology was about 2 years ago when I started. It was literally my first meeting with a customer. It was on my first day. It was with a nonprofit we work with called Bridging Voices. And I heard this story of a mom whose daughter had ALS and had lost her voice, and she was working through, Stephen Hawking type technology and like this robotic experience and just couldn't get anything close. And she gave us a voicemail, and we cloned her daughter's voice so that she could have a natural conversation with her daughter. And she said, "It's the most beautiful sound I've ever heard." And to me, the power of that, I'm literally tearing up in my first meeting ever. And it was, we've been telling stories as a culture and species for thousands of years. Voice is so impactful. If you think about the loved ones that you have in this world, or those iconic people you look up to, their voice like that. It's so unique. And I think when it comes to the enterprises we serve, there's really power with having a voice that is worthy of your brand and that brand experience. And so for me, that was an aha moment of, wow, we can really create these amazing experiences that can actually bring people to tears and elicit that sort of emotion in a really deep way. And then as we started to launch these voices across voice agents, it was like, wow, it's really hard to nail a voice agent because you can't wait for a voice agent to respond like 5 or 10 seconds like you can for a chatbot. And so by deeply integrating with enterprises, meeting them where they are, building for them, then it was relatively easy for us to turn on, okay, we can do chat and we can do these other modalities in a cool way.
We haven't really talked about this next thing. So you're all fully production apps, you're scaling like crazy, you're global, all of these things, these are not toys. And so I think what was, it's a two-part question. What was first, what was that thing, that killer Gemini era feature that made you, change your roadmap? And then on top of that, how did you think about production and scale, and what advice would you give to people in this room who are kind of in a similar, place or going in a similar place? And then you think about scale, and not just scale, but global scale, right? Which is where all of you play. So maybe we could start with you.
Yeah, so the killer Gemini era I mentioned was a virtual model that we launched, and there are multiple jobs that people want to do for e-commerce, and how did we make it scale is actually being quite smart about what people want. So sometimes you want the generalist is using a hammer to kill everything, and when you're scaling hard, what Photorum does well is balancing generalist model that are taking a bit of time and reduce this bandwidth that you have and apply it for the simple use case that we have that actually are faster, so it reduces the load on that. And for that, what we do is we have a internal team, internal inference team, and we run, in this case, our own model, but on top of GCP, but we really optimize for speed for image generation. And so having this balance of first being smart enough about what your vertical is to be able to balance which solution, which pipeline is going to be great for this use case, and not overuse a hammer to do everything. And then having a research team internally that is able to optimize the pipeline to not use the biggest model, the biggest quality where the need is quite low quality, is a great way to be able to balance and scale globally. So this research internally helps us a lot to scale.
Yeah, and actually, just to pile onto that, let people know, like, where is your application in the world?
Yeah.
How big is the user base so they can get an idea of this?
Yeah, so Photomy is quite big as coming from like a small businesses. We have 20 million active users. We process like almost 10 billion generated images a year, and we are in 180 countries. So you also balance your load to make sure that the enterprise level customer get like a priority, and then depending on the usage of the smaller businesses, they're a bit more patient, they are less demanding. So that's like having this this balance between your user is also helpful when you have such a large user base.
Yeah. Let's go over to you. Yeah.
For this killer feature, we're known a lot for the voice models being industry leading and the contextual understanding, because context really matters in the course of a conversation. I think to me, the killer feature on top of that is really the expressivity, to be able to express certain emotion in certain scenarios where, whether you want to laugh, chuckle, whisper, to convey that extra emotion. And then in more professional settings, to really be able to match the tone, whether it happens to be a frustrated customer, on a support call, or someone who's actually quite interested on more of a sales scenario, to be able to match that tone and empathy. So you have the voice, the context, but then also to be able to have the expression that really matters. As that's brought into voice agents, and in combination with our field deployment engineering team, we've seen that been incredible value add for lots of different workflows across the enterprise for agents. It's support, it's training enablement, sales and marketing on the creative side. There's a lot of workflows there, but then we've all seen great AI demos. It's really hard to get something consistently at production scale globally across languages. And for me, that's where GCP has been an incredible partner. With all the right permissions, of course, we were able to work with Epic Games and bring a Darth Vader cloned voice into Fortnite, all powered with GCP. And this was the first time what I do my kids thought was cool, when they could have a conversation with Darth Vader. It was amazing. And in a short period of just 3 weeks, all, with the help of GCP, we were able to, have, it was like over 50 years of players' conversation with Darth Vader. And, now even today, and the amount of time it takes me to say this sentence, we just created another day of audio based on everything on GCP. And so, that scale really matters. The reliability, of course, the right guardrails and security for these enterprise workflows, and just the scalability as well.
Going back to kind of like what was that moment when we were like, we need to scale this thing? And I feel like I'm a broken record, but I think that it's when we saw CodeGen can generate really good motion graphics and a whole video orchestration. And literally that week, that I still remember that vividly, last November, we were like, damn, this is the way to go. Let's re-architect everything that we are doing today and scale that. And we powered through it. We built an entire framework that use code to orchestrate video, put motion graphics on top, animate things, et cetera, et cetera. We launched our video agent V2 in end of January. And it's been growing like crazy. And beyond that, we believe that this technology can only be better if LLMs get to be better at writing this new specification or this new code language. So we decided to open source it. That way, everyone can be building videos using this new technology. Again, if you're interested, look up our Twitter, HeyGen's Twitter, and we just open sourced it about last week. You can see all of our launch videos on there that are all made using code. And so that was when we were like, let's go. Let's really scale this, and it delivered. Our users love it, and obviously, I actually have complaints. I think GCP sometimes is down. So, but Gemini 3 Flash is one of, if not the best, quality over cost and latency model for us to be able to scale this technology.
Amazing. Yeah. Not perfect, getting better, and hopefully bringing VO costs down for you too.
Yes, please.
All right. Well, we're close to time, so I'd say the era of multimodal AI is here today. We're around forever. I'm not getting replaced, so thank you. And for anyone in here, just a shameless plug as well, if you have a company, you are building something in the AI space, AI multimodal space, please apply to the AI Futures Fund. We'd love to take a look at your application. But yeah, please give a round of applause to my panelists.